guys, welcome back. You Can Too here again. Today I'm going to be making yellow plum jam. Now it's just jam in general. Don't be frightened of it. It really isn't anything to be frightened of. People think, oh, I can't do that, I can't do that. All jam is basically equal amounts of sugar to fruit. I'm using yellow plums here, but you can use any kind of fruit you want. You can use cherries, you can use blackberries, you can use raspberries, blueberries, you name it. The only thing I would say is most fruits are about a medium pectin level. Pectin is sort of like the setting agent. That's the easiest way to describe it. Strawberries, as lovely as strawberry jam is, it is one of the more difficult ones to make. Strawberries have a really low pectin level, and that's the only time that I will use jam sugar. Most of the time I just use ordinary bog standard granulated sugar. Any supermarket, all exactly the same stuff. So the only time I use the jam sugar is for making strawberry jam. So as I say, today I'm doing yellow plum jam, sorry. That's because I'm thinking I've got some chutney to do as well. So I'm doing yellow plum jam today. I've got the plums on a high heat. They've been chopped, they've been stoned. These I have frozen. Through the course of this summer I've processed somewhere in the region of about 120 pounds of yellow plums, so it's not possible to do it all in one go. Right, so my plums are sort of heating up now, and I can add, it looks again as if there's quite a lot of liquid in there because the plums have been frozen, but don't worry about that because the pectin level in plums is good enough that it will go to jam. So I've got just fractionally over 2 kilos of plums in there. The quantities will be at the beginning, or you can pull them up, you'll see the recipe at the side. You will be able to get a hold of the recipe, so don't worry. Again, me jumping between pounds and ounces and grams and kilograms, but it will all be there for you so you can see it. Okay, so I've got approximately 2 kilos of fruit. I'm adding my 2nd kilo of sugar. Equal quantities of sugar to fruit, and I'm just stirring that in. Keep stirring it until all the sugar is mixed in, and then you keep stirring it until the sugar doesn't show as grains on the spoon. I always use a wooden spoon. Don't ever use plastic when you're making jam. You're working with very high temperatures. It gets scalding hot. Do be careful not to get any on yourself because it will big style burn. Excuse me. The jug I'll be using at the end to transfer everything, again, is a glass jug. Obviously a well-known brand, but it works. It's a good strong jug, and it's not going to break when I put it into the boiling liquid. You can hear that it's quite grainy in there still. And just keep stirring it and stirring it. It will gradually come up to the boil, and as it comes up to the boil, the sugar will start to dissolve. Whilst I've got this going on, in the oven at the moment, I always save jam jars, pickle jars, dip jars, sauces, anything that you use that comes in a glass jar with a tin lid. Don't use the plastic lids like you get on coffee jars, always the tin lids, but anything that comes in a tin lid, save your jars. Get your friends, your family to save jars. I've got half the county saving jars for me. But you need to sterilise your jars. So in the oven at the moment, I have a tray of jars and their lids heating at about 180 degrees centigrade, and they will stay in there for a minimum of about 15-20 minutes. 2 reasons behind that. Firstly, obviously it's going to sterilise. They are clean. I have washed them at a high temperature and made sure they're really good and clean, but they need to be sterile. because you don't want mould coming in your jam, you don't want them going off, you don't want to basically waste your batch of cooking, your batch of fruit and your time. So they're heating up, and the second reason is because you can't put hot jam into cold jars because it will just shatter them. They'll just completely smash, and again you've wasted your time, your money, your fruit and everything. Okay, now if you look at my spoon, I don't know if you can see it clearly, but if you look at my spoon, there are no grains on that spoon now. It's slightly blackened because I've done it with, I've made blackberry jam and obviously blackberry steak. But can you see there, you know, there's sort of grains from the fruit a little bit, but there are no sugar grains on there. Okay, the sugar's all dissolved. So now what I need to do is bring this up to the boil. It's coming up to a nice boil now. As you can see, you've got this, they call it scum, I think it's an awful name for it, but it's just basically stuff off the skin of the fruit and everything. The fruit's all clean, it's all been washed and done properly. What I'm going to do is just skim some of that off. Okay, just a bowl. Again, don't use plastic. Always use china, glass, metal, anything like that, you know, anything that you know isn't going to break under heat. Okay, so I'm just skimming that off, and I need this to keep boiling. And just keep bubbling away, and it will gradually change texture. You'll see the bubbles will change. If you look at the bubbles at the moment, they're quite fast. It'll change to like almost like a toffee bubble. You'll see it. You can use the thermometer. You can use a kitchen thermometer if you want. A jam thermometer, which looks like that. And it tells you on it the different things. It'll tell you caramel, hard crack, hard ball, soft crack, soft ball. It's just different, you know. But personally, I don't, because I don't think you need it personally. If you don't trust yourself, then by all means use one. You're looking for a hard boil, and you keep it at that hard boil for about 10 minutes. I'm going to carry on scooping those bits of scum out, so you don't have to get all of it out. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it'll sort of settle on the top a little bit, and some people will say, oh, what's that? And you know, when you tell them it's scum, then ooh. But as I say, it's absolutely fine. Right, so we'll just stir it every so often just to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. I mean, I always try and make sure my jam hand's about half full, at least half full, quarter to half full, because if it's any lower, you're not going to be able, you haven't got the depth of stuff, you haven't got the depth of fruit and everything, you might get it burning. If you've got it sort of quarter plus full, then it's not going to burn, or it shouldn't burn. I mean, I say I've been doing this for a very long time, and touch wood, I've never had it burn yet. So we just keep stirring it every so often. You see that's slightly changing already. It looks like it's a slower boil, but it's not. It's that the jam is starting to thicken slightly already. Okay guys, so this has been bubbling for about 10 minutes now, maybe a little bit more. You can see, look at the difference in the bubbles. They're bigger bubbles, it's not rolling anymore, it's just blooping away now. Just had a stir of it with a metal spoon. I've changed over spoons obviously, and if you look on the spoon, this is cooled down now. For God's sake, don't touch it when it's hot because you'll burn your finger off. But this is cooled down now, and if I run my finger along, you can see, okay, it's gathered in a blob. You can see it definitely. Okay, so we know that's set now, or setting point. I'm just going to put a little bit on a plate so I can show you in a minute. And I'm going to, with my glass jar, as I say, my Pyrex jar, which is good and strong, take it in the jar. And these jars, they're all different shapes and sizes. I say jars from all over the place. They're hot because they've just come out of the oven, which is exactly what I want. So I'm now going to pour my jam. It will hiss, it will bubble, that's fine, it's what it's meant to do. Pour the jam in. You leave a little bit at the top. It'll calm down in a second. I'm just going to do a couple more whilst that's calming down. You can buy funnels and everything. If you use the jug, you don't necessarily need the funnel. Right, so we've been pouring the jam into the jar. You need to seal it whilst it's hot. Obviously these lids are going to be hot. Don't touch the jars, they're going to be very, very hot. As I say, I can't tell you enough times, you really are working with extreme temperatures. I've got asbestos fingers, don't ever do what I've just done. Tighten the jar. At the moment, it's not sealed. Tighten that jar up and leave it to cool, just like that, and it will seal. Over here is one I made back in September. Exactly the same jam, yellow plum jam. It's sealed. If you listen, you got the pop. Jam is going to turn out like that. You're going to have lumps of fruit in it, and it's going to be gorgeous. Okay guys, that's about it for this video. So as usual, please like, subscribe, follow us. We'll be doing lots more. Tomorrow I'm going to do a yellow plum chutney, as I accidentally mentioned earlier, because I've got a few yellow plums left to do. I should be doing some cider soon. I should be doing all sorts of bits and bobs. Like, subscribe, follow us, and we'll get all these things done for you. And once again, if there's anything you want, let me know, and if I can, I'll do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget, you can do it too.